Call this meeting to order. After roll call, Council at Large Cummins.
Here.
At Large Spear.
Here.
Council Ward number 1 Leeper. Here. Ward number 2 Anderson. Here. And Ward number 3 McNeil. Here.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
To the agenda. There are no additions or modifications to the agenda. Is there a motion to approve? McNeil with the first. Second. And Anderson with the second.
Anderson?
Yep.
Spear?
Yes.
Leeper?
Yes.
McNeil?
Yes.
Cummins? Yes.
Alright, so to the communications, we actually had somebody ask to be on the communications agenda. It is an update from the Cedar County Freedom Rock Committee. If you guys wouldn't mind making your way to the podium.
Good evening, Larry Hodgson, 210 East 6th Street. This is Mike Carey, and he doesn't live in Tipton, but he can tell you where he lives.
748, 175th Street, Mechanicsville. Okay, so if you've not driven by the courthouse this afternoon, the tent is up, which basically means that Bubba is going to be following within the next couple of days. He asked us, when he told us when he was coming, not to tell anybody, that's what we never mentioned, but he's on his way. So, June 29th, 2 weeks from last Saturday, is the Cedar County Freedom Rock dedication date. We have approval from the Iowa Department of Transportation to close Highway 38 from 3rd Street to 6th Street. The detour is going to be from South Street to Lemon, up to 9th, back to Cedar. Early in the morning on this 29th, Saturday, we're going to be starting to set the stage up. The stage will be set up on the west side of Cedar Street. There'll be 2 flatbed trailers. We'll back them back to back. The main trailer will be centered directly in front of the Freedom Rock. Our speakers, if you've not been reading, our keynote speaker is Rear Admiral William Pennington. He's a Cedar County native. We have Senator Joni Ernst, and we have Representative Dave Loebsack. So we have some pretty well-credentialed people. The ceremony will start at 4 o'clock with patriotic music. At 4:30, we're going to have a World War II vintage flyover. We have a couple pilots lined up. The ceremony should run from around 4:30 until around 6-ish, give or take a couple minutes. Please attend. We're anticipating, we have ranges of bets. I'm betting over 2,000 people. Some people say 500. I hope they're wrong, and I hope that I'm close to being right. Bring lawn chairs. We're not going to provide seating. We'll have a couple bleachers. We'll have some chairs that we're going to have for some of the older veterans that might have forgotten to bring lawn chairs, but in general, bring lawn chairs and blankets. God forbid it rains, we'll be in the middle school auditorium.
And Mayor Carney will be giving the welcome for everybody. That day is on the program for that, and we would like to have certainly all of you attend and enjoy the activities. We are providing, of course, doing all the details, porta potties for people up there. They're going to be parked on the parking there north of the courthouse on that little side little street, whatever you call that. Porta potties be up there, and we're going to be providing transportation from the United Church of Christ to the site for people with handicap disabilities. That might, because parking may be a real premium in Tipton. If we get a large crowd, they're going to be parked everywhere. And so we didn't want people to have to struggle and try to walk or in wheelchairs to get there from any distance. So we're providing transportation for that. I do have some Lions members lined up to help directing traffic on some of the streets. We were thinking we'd like to be able to control some of the traffic on 4th and 5th Street. Where we're coming from, this is going to be a very solemn ceremony for the most part. with the dedication and all of the things we're doing, recognizing Gold Star families and the speeches and all of that. So we'd like to be able to control the traffic noise as much as possible around that area. So Lisa, we've been working with Lisa. Lisa's going to help us with that, and we're having a meeting this Wednesday. I've invited Steve Nash and Lisa to attend, if possible, 5 o'clock at the courthouse. Make the last minute details. I'm not sure if there's anything else we need to. If you certainly have questions, you can certainly ask any questions you like.
How exciting.
Mhm. So they'll be done painting by then?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Fingers
Well, I
crossed.
mean,
Well,
if everything works out.
yeah, the tent will actually stay up until he's done painting, and then we're going to cover the rock with a canopy, a 10 by 10 canopy. So that will stay on there until the day of the ceremony. The big tent will come down, the canopy will stay there, and then that will be unveiled during the ceremony. We've got some veterans lined up who served in Afghanistan, Iraq, with the young men that were killed over there. They're going to be there, and they're going to unveil the Freedom Rock. So we've got a lot going on.
Mhm.
Should be a good ceremony. We're just hoping that we get a lot of people to attend. And
Will Bubba be here for it?
Yes, yeah. He also is a speaker. He's going to describe the murals that he paints.
Oh.
We don't get to ourselves per se choose what he paints. We gave him suggestions, and if he follows our suggestions, Mike Boyle, Jeff Kaufman, Sandy Harmel gave him amazing ideas. And if he follows that script, it's going to blow your socks away. Bring Kleenexes. It's going to be there's going to be some cheerful events planned. So.
All right. Sounds amazing.
It is going to be.
Yeah, thank you.
And we really, our hope is that people will stay after the ceremony and visit all of our restaurants.
Mhm.
And
All right.
at 6 o'clock, we're done around 6 or a little after. Hopefully they've sat there for a couple hours and want to stay and see the rock, maybe get something to eat, hang around. I would hope people would hang around for quite a while afterwards. And
Mhm.
we hope this will bring a lot of people to Tipton. There are tours around the state of Iowa just to go around, just to visit the Freedom Rock. So we'll be on their schedule, and we're hoping that'll bring people into Tipton.
Great. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.
If there's anybody else who'd like to address the council, we can at this time. Seeing there is none, we will close that portion of the meeting and move on to the consent agenda. These can be enacted with one motion, and they are the approval of the city council minutes from June 3rd, approval of the treasurer's investment report on May 19th, approval of a liquor license renewal for Family Foods, approval of the cigarette license renewals that will happen on July 1st, and the approval of the claims list. Do any of these need to be pulled out? Seeing there is none, is there a motion?
So moved.
Spear with the first and Leeper with the second.
Spear,
Yes.
Leeper,
Yes.
McNeil,
Yes.
Cummins, Anderson,
Yes. All right, moving on to our one and only public hearing tonight. We have a public hearing on the lamp annexation application. I need a motion to open public hearing. McNeil with the first and Leeper with the second.
Leeper,
Yes.
McNeil,
Yes.
Cummins, Anderson,
Yes.
Spear,
Yes.
All right, so the public hearing has opened. Brian, anything new?
Well, this concerns a voluntary annexation application by members of the Lamp family. It goes back to when Old Muscatine Road was part of a paving project last year. The original project paved to the city's then right-of-way line where both sides of the road were in the city limits. Then later, the city extended the amount of pavement. And in doing that, it was partly half in the city and half in the county. And in doing that, the city used city standards So we paved a portion of county road that wasn't up to county standards. And so as part of that, for the county not objecting to us going ahead and doing that, the city said that it would annex that other half of the easement for the road. And then later, it became that the city set out to annex the entire easement all the way out to the most southern city limit. So we're talking about an area that's roughly 45 feet wide and around 1,500 feet long. This is a long process. Though voluntary, there are a lot of notifications that have to be done. There are 12 steps in all, and a number of those steps have subparts. This is in between step 9 and step 10. If the council approves the resolution that is later on the agenda, then we have to do a number of filings of the processes that we've done and the documents we've collected at various places, the Secretary of State, the Board of Supervisors, Public Utilities, the DOT. We also have to have it recorded. So it's a long process. We haven't received any opposition for this public hearing to consider. In fact, one of the notifications went to a property owner who's directly across from the annexed area, who's in the city, and he indicated that he was fine with what was being proposed. So that's pretty much where we're at. Again, it's a long process, but the city is following through with what it said it would do as part of that arrangement with the county.
All right. Any questions or anything on that? All right. Then, if that is all there is on this public hearing tonight, there's a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
McNeil with the first and Lieber with the second.
Lieber,
Yes.
McNeil,
Yes.
Cummins, Anderson,
Yes.
Spear,
Yes.
Alright, so that is closed, and now we'll move on to new business, which the first is a resolution approving a contract for city attorney services. We have Holly Corkery here, if anybody has any questions for her. She's our city attorney, one of the more prominent ones that we have.
Hi. If you guys have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. Thank you for letting us work for you. I enjoy working with the city of Tipton, and I know the other lawyers in our firm do too, so we appreciate the opportunity so much. You've all been really great.
Alright.
My experience, it's been a pleasure working with you.
Good, thank you. It's not everyone's experience with lawyers.
I'm on your side.
That's true.
Alright. If there's no other questions or comments for Holly, I'll take a motion on this contract. McNeil with the first and Spear with the second.
McNeil,
Yes.
Cummins,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Spear,
Yes.
Lieber,
Yes.
Thank you, Holly.
Thank you, guys.
Alright, the next one, which is a resolution saying the compensation for appointed city officers and employees for the fiscal year of 1920. That'd be for Melissa.
This is an annual resolution that we have to do for our audit requirements. These salaries have been are in next fiscal year's budget, so they've all been accounted for. So this would just list out the city employees and city officials.
Alright, any questions for Melissa? Is there a motion on this one? Anderson with the first
Second?
and Spear with the second.
Cummins, Anderson,
Yes.
Spear,
Yes.
Lieber,
Yes.
McNeil,
Yes.
Alright, down to number 3, which is a resolution concerning the application for the voluntary annexation submitted by Tipton and Keith Lamp, Ronald Lamp, and Don Lamp. Brian?
This finalizes the council's portion of the process, and as I mentioned, upon your approval, we would then have to do a series of filings.
approval for a series of filings. All right, a motion for Anderson with the first, and McNeil with the second.
Anderson?
Yes.
Spear?
Yes.
Leeper?
Yes.
McNeil?
Yes.
Cummins?
Yes.
All right, number 5, which is discussion on possible action concerning the approval of Electronics Inc. quote for various city, did I miss one? Oh, I missed one, sorry. Number 4, which is actually a discussion, possible action concerning the county's easement agreement.
Yeah, there are 2 agreements that we enclosed. They have to do with a county project, a replacement of a existing culvert. They did a calculation based on, I don't know exactly what the formula is, but they used that as a past practice, and it estimated total compensation for a permanent and a temporary easement totaling $866.36. That's in one of the agreements. The other one is at no compensation, $0. And I suggested that, and that's what I would recommend. The reason being, on things like this, I've usually suggested that when it's an intergovernmental situation, we not charge each other if we can avoid it. You know, it uses somebody's tax money to pay for somebody else's fee. The other part of it too is we may be asking for an easement of our own from the county having to do with the trail project on some nearby county property. So if we want them to entertain this idea, we have to entertain this idea. So we would be asking for more easement area in that situation than what they're asking for here. So that's why I asked for it to be considered.
Brian, where exactly is this culvert?
Are you familiar with it at all? Steve, do you know where
The exact location of it?
Isn't it crossing South Street?
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm not aware of any of it.
Okay. I took it that,
I'd like to be though.
isn't it crossing South Street?
thought it was Inwood Road, but I didn't have
Oh, okay. Well, it's
Well, it's in the city limits.
yeah, well, and it's in the area of an existing culvert anyway.
It says Old Muscatine Road on the annexation map, plat.
That's the,
first one.
yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that's the lamp one.
Well, it's showing the creek.
Is that by our public works department creek?
That's what I
Might
thought.
be that block that they. Yeah, where you own the railroad section, okay. Okay, that's helpful.
Either which way, I want to say that the location doesn't 100% matter. In maybe our eyes, it's the fact that we're doing it for free, so they'll reciprocate at some point, but just to be good governmental neighbors.
Yeah.
Is there a motion or any other questions on this?
Number 2.
All right, McNeil's made the motion, and Leeper with the second.
Spear?
Yes.
Leeper?
Yes.
McNeil? Cummins? Anderson?
Yes.
All right, now down to electronics. A quote for various city department locations. Melissa?
We invited 2 security companies to come into our city buildings to just look at improving security where we could. Both suggested doing panic buttons as a fairly simple addition that would add a lot of increased security. So what has been proposed was from electronics and electronic engineering. Electronics was what we're looking for right now. Electronic engineering added a lot more camera systems in there. To just get the panic button, you had to have a quite extensive security system in addition to that, and that's not what we're looking for at this time. So the electronic inks one covered City Hall, it covered Linda's office, the Aquatic Center. We had them tour the library, but currently the library has a panic button, so they're covered on that aspect. And then we also did the fire station just for the purpose of council meetings. So
And did they
these-
recommend that for
they
here?
did, yes.
Even though Lisa or an officer is here?
Yep, and the purpose for a panic button is to put it in places that you may not have that initial interaction with the person who's upset, so that if someone would come to City Hall, myself, Brian, Amy, we're all able to alert the officers if Deborah Cindy couldn't get to the panic button.
Right.
Same here, if someone would, put Lisa in a situation where she's not able to help, we would have one that we could also alert officers. So that's kind of the thinking behind where they're located. So it may seem like we have a lot, but that's, you just, to try to plan for every situation is what he was suggesting. And they're fairly simple to move to, so they would all be wireless, and we would have a control panel in each location, and then have the panic buttons, and then they would be wired into our phone system. So as needed, as we go on to, we can also add more buttons if we see a situation where we feel like one would be best, or if council chambers would move to a different location in years down the road, we can move as well. So that's the nice thing about this, is it would be transportable. So
let me ask this, I just thought of this, if it's transportable and you're having meetings here after the office is closed, is it something where you can take that with you?
no, because each system is gonna have a control panel in the building that it's gonna connect to.
So it's gotta stay with the next?
Yes, yep.
Gotcha.
And it was an option where specifically here, we could have had it Velcroed in, since this is used by the fire department too. And I spoke with Sean about that, and since it's wireless, he didn't see a problem in needing to remove that. So he thought having it screwed in was a good solution to that, and it can be moved at any point. So this would be funded out of the administrative services. It has a budget in there for miscellaneous projects, and we kind of felt like this would be a good use of those funds. Any questions?
All right. If there are no more questions from Melissa, is there a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion.
Cummins with the first,
Second?
and Spear with the second.
Leeper.
Yes.
McNeil.
Yes.
Cummins. Anderson.
Yes.
Spear.
Yes.
All right, so number 6, discussion and possible action concerning painting the indoor pool and gutters.
Hey,
Mr.
everybody.
Spangler?
And
4 or 5 years ago, we had Terry and Sons paint the indoor pool. With all the construction going on and stuff, the pool is drained and everything. And Sheets, when they gave me their bid, they said, well, we could take off the gutters, do inside the gutters as well, and put the gutters back on. So then I had Terry and Sons resubmit theirs, and that was theirs. Terry and Sons have always done a great job since, with my personal experience, I've been here for 14 years. I think they've done a great job. I know it's just like it was $150 more, the quote, compared to Sheets, but I know them a lot more, and the main guy, I know them pretty well, so that's why I suggested Terry and Sons.
so is it the two figures on their bid, the $9,829 and the $5,300?
And I don't think, well, Mike Calvert, he sent me a spreadsheet from his records when they first painted. I measured the gutters, it's two feet wide, or 2 feet down by 1 foot wide. I don't think it's gonna be 5,300 more, to be honest with you. The only reason why is because there's a groove that goes into where the gutter sets in, and it goes down 2 feet. So I don't think they're gonna use as much paint. I can verify that with Mike again, but if it is that, even if it is just a little more, I think I trust them. Nothing against Sheets, but I just know Terry and Son. Actually, Sheets are actually contracting me out with somebody else coming in, so I don't even know who they're getting. So it's through Sheets, but somebody else is coming to do the paint for them. But Terry and Son's, his crew's coming in.
All right. Any other questions for Adam? Is there a motion and which bid?
I would make a motion to accept the Terry and Sons.
All right, Spear with the first to accept the Terry and Sons bid. McNeil with the second.
McNeil, Cummins,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Spear,
Yes.
Leeper.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right,
Thanks,
thanks, Adam. Number 7, discussion and possible action concerning the purchase of some classroom tables and chairs in the ambulance building. Mr. Ratliff.
Hi, Ryan.
Hello. Hi, Pam. Our building was built in 1989, and since 1989, we've had the same tables and chairs in there. A lot of the chairs, you sit down, especially if you're of big stature like myself, you sit down in the chair and this chair sits down on the floor. So we've had to throw out probably a quarter of our chairs already, and the ones that we have right now, they're just dilapidated and falling apart. It's time to replace it. We have money in the budget right now in our education spot to do just this, and I really hope that you guys would consider doing that. I spoke to Walters Furniture in Cedar Rapids, and they're able to provide it. I actually hope to go local, but they're no longer distributing office furniture. Training room furniture like this. Any questions?
All right, well, it doesn't look like it. Is there a motion?
Second.
Leeper with the first and Spear with the second.
Cummins,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Spear,
Yes.
Leeper,
Yes.
McNeil.
All right, thank you, Mr. Ratliff. Next one, discussion and possible action concerning car and body camera systems for current vehicles and police staff. That's right, yep.
Yes,
Chief Kemper?
I gave you all the information. It's a great system and it's in the budget. So if we could get that taken care of for this fiscal year, that would help us out so well. The cameras that we have now, we're not able to update some of the software because they're so old, and some of the replacement parts we can't order anymore. So we're kind of piecing them together when they do break. So we actually the representative came out last week and we got it down, so it was $1,000 less than what they originally quoted us for. So $1,000 is $1,000, but it is within the budget. So I'm just requesting that we go ahead and spend that this fiscal year, so we can get that in here.
Awesome. Any questions for Chief Kemper? Is there a motion?
Motion.
Anderson with the first and McNeil with the second.
Anderson,
Yes.
Spear,
Yes.
Leeper,
Yes.
McNeil, Cummins.
Yes.
All right, number 9, which is discussion and possible action concerning a contract with Lexipol for the policy manual and daily training bulletins. Chief Kemper?
Yes, Lexipol is, I think I included a bunch of information. It's a risk management company, but it also will help us with our policy manuals that we've had from Marion since 2011, I think. And they also will give us our daily trainings because we are required to have 12 hours of training per year for officers. Right now, we have an online service that does that for us. They're starting to repeat themselves. We had them for about a year and a half, and now some of the training is starting to be repetitive. Lexipol handles the daily training, so you get 2 minutes a day, 30 days in a month. There's your 60 minutes, there's your hour, and they try to stay up to date on whatever currently is going on. They also update your policy manual, so if changes come with different laws changing, like July 1st is always a big time for laws to change. They will go through and help you get those updated with the upcoming changes. So, and this also is in our current budget. We'd like to try it for a year to see if their training is better than what we were getting and get our policy manual up to date. And if we sign by August 2nd, I think, or 9th, they will have a 12-week, once a week, where I can meet and we can get the training manual basically in place, or at least about 3/4 of it in place. So I'd just like to use up my budget and go with this company. They are also part of our EMC insurance pool, if you want to call it that. So we also received a 10% discount through them. I spoke with Mike Pelzer to see if we could get a discount on our current premiums, but our agency would have to be CALIA accredited, which is a whole nother several years worth of paperwork we have to do, and I don't even know if it'd be worth it for us to do that. So we're just going to get the 10% discount if we go with them. But it is a risk management company, so it should reduce any kind of issues we may have with lawsuits also.
Great. Any questions for Chief on this one?
Thank you.
Is there a motion?
So,
Spear with the first, and Leeper with the second.
Spear,
yes.
Leeper,
Yes.
McNeil, Cummins, Anderson,
Yes.
All right,
Thank you.
thanks, chief. Number 10, which is discussion and possible action concerning a trench shoring. Steve?
I got more information, and then Rexco, they came back and said, well, you know, we can maybe do a little better on the dollar thing if we're out of the ballpark. Well, I don't like that kind of business. They didn't give us our best shot to start with. But they do have an 8x8 shoring unit on the ground for sale right now. That's the upside. They don't have an end panel for it, which is gonna cost a little more, and it's probably gonna be around $1,500 more altogether than what Star Equipment has quoted us at $72.45. That's in your pack. I like the Star Equipment shoring. It's a little bit lighter. It's OSHA approved, obviously, for the depths that we're gonna be at. It's gonna be fine. I guess I'm gonna probably suggest we go with Star Equipment but it's gonna take us a little bit to get that, a little time lag here. The engineer has got the design drawn up and it's gone through the DNR. It's with them now. They have 3 copies of the design, so we're gonna be getting authorization probably within the 3 or 4 weeks, maybe 5 weeks, to go ahead with the project. We'll have to borrow some shoring to do that, in all likelihood, ahead of, if we go with the Star Equipment shoring.
Are those end panels available?
Well, Rosty just sent me this today, and so I don't know if that's available. I know where you're going with that, if it's available, and if we can get the whole package right now.
Not necessarily the whole package, only if you can get the end panels at a later date.
You can get them at a later date, I'm sure.
Okay, then you've got to have some kind of protection.
Absolutely.
And the end panels will just add to that. So if you've got something better, is better than nothing.
I totally agree, and that's something Lynch's have offered us their equipment, and so have to borrow, and so have Weavers on a temporary basis. We're gonna end up setting 3 manholes with this project, so those are gonna be, of course, Lynch and Weaver, they have heavy duty stuff that we can utilize too.
Don't go down there without protection.
No, it's,
All I'm saying. Don't do it. Don't even think about doing it.
I'm not gonna risk anything like that with anybody. But, so I guess the question is, do we go with a little more expensive and have it right now? Or do we get this complete package, it's gonna be a few weeks out and it's gonna have everything? That's kind of my dilemma. And it's kind of a hassle borrowing stuff too, how that goes, but.
All right.
What do you, any thoughts at the table for me?
Well, it appears to me that Star is cheaper, no?
Yeah.
Star is cheaper.
Yeah.
But it's a longer lead.
Right, he has to wait.
Yeah.
I also would lean towards Star, and I agree with what you said to begin with, why didn't the other company come in with it? That's a frustrating thing as a business person.
Yeah.
To, obviously they could.
Or they
And they
would.
did not. So to me, if we're comfortable borrowing, I would go with Star.
I'm very comfortable, I know these guys real well, and they're happy to work with us, they work with us on a lot of things, so. And I like the fact that it's all gonna fit, the stuff's all gonna fit, the end panels, with, what Star Equipment has quoted, it's not something that's hodgepodge together, it's the unit.
You give us the recommendation you think would work out best.
Well, I think work out best over time would be the Star Equipment.
Okay,
Yeah,
All right.
absolutely.
go for it.
So,
Is that a motion by you, Leeper?
Yes, it is.
All right, Leeper with the first and Cummins with the second.
Leeper,
Yes.
McNeil,
Yes.
Cummins,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Spear.
thank you. Take care of the guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. All right, number 11, which is discussion of possible action concerning a boring project. to repair and upgrade either by water.
Well, it's been anything but boring.
Yeah.
This is actually for your formal approval of the work that we've done out at the Walmart Dollar General feeder. June 6th, it got hit about 2:30 in the afternoon. So the guys was able to figure out how to backfeed it again and come up with some costs of what it was going to cost to fix it. The most expensive part was the directional boring, which was $35,000. I think when I talked to Brian, I told him on the phone 25 to 30, but then Terry told me 35. 3,100 for the interduct and 10,500 for the primary cable, which we have the interduct and the cable already here. So the only thing we're really out is the directional boring. So they've been up there working on that. We've run into a lot of issues. I did not budget for this coming year, but like it says, I can make it walk in the budget. But I can get it done, and it shouldn't be a problem. So.
Right. Any questions or concerns, Brian? Melissa? That'll work out? Alright. Yeah, something I think has to be done.
Yeah, it was one of the things that we had planned on doing, but we just didn't plan on doing it this year. And with what had happened and stuff like that, we just kind of decided that, you know, we just will bite the bullet and just get it over with and just be done with it.
All right.
Because the repairer's gonna have to set it underneath water, and I don't trust them. I've seen this go bad in the past before, so I just don't trust them.
Okay. Is there a motion? Anderson with the first, and Leeper with the second?
McNeil?
Yes.
Cummins?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Spear?
Yes.
Leeper?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Lloyd.
Thanks, Floyd. And now we have a discussion of possible action concerning the mayoral appointment of Matt McCall to the library board. Yes, the library board recommended this to myself, and then I'm recommending it to the council. And Matt McCall will start a 6-year term on the library board. Any questions or concerns? Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Spear with the first and Leeper with the second?
Cummins?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Spear?
Yes.
Leeper?
Yes.
McNeil?
All right, and then to number 13, which is discussion of possible action concerning the approval of year 2019 township contracts for EMS and fire services. Go ahead. Both of them, right? No, this says.
The contract were just given to me by Connie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
You would lump them all together,
Well,
or each township.
I think if you do it like it is here as one motion, you should list out.
Then each township.
Yeah.
All right, we'll do.
These should be the completed township agreements between the fire department, ambulance, and the respective townships. We do it on an annual basis, and the agreements don't renew automatically, unfortunately. So the agreements this year are based off of the current evaluation set by the auditor as of January 1 of this year. Questions?
I don't think so. Just make sure I list them all off.
Yeah, I think it was.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, it's on there.
All right, so, there we go. So if there's a motion to have the agreements received from Cass, Center, Fairfield, Red Oak, Rochester, and Springfield townships for EMS and fire. McNeil with the first,
Second.
and Spear with the second.
Anderson?
Yes.
Spear?
Yes.
Leeper?
Yes.
McNeil?
Yes.
Cummins?
Yes.
All right, so now we're down to The reports, the mayor's report, we do have a lot of barriers up right now for road construction, so please be patient with those. We as a city aren't 100% sure when those road closures will happen or how long they will be. That's up to the contractor doing the work. So yes, please be patient with that, and we get smoother roads out of the deal. So there's my report, council reports. Committee, oh, yep.
Yeah. I was telling this young man earlier that last Saturday, I went to my 60th class reunion in Newton. And I got there early so I could see their Freedom Rock. And it's done quite well. It's on the east side of the Court Square in Newton. And they had pretty good sized panels. They were probably 4 or 5 foot square. And each of the services, Army, Navy, Air Force, Coast Guard, Marines, and they were done on both sides. And then underneath those were the names of those that served in that capacity for each one of those. And they were on both sides of them. There's still space to put others, but I was really impressed with it. Their Freedom Rock was on a pedestal about as tall as that rostrum right there, and a little bit wider than that. And it wasn't very big, but it was there, and it had a nice painting on it, and it had a nice plaque in front of it that was fitting for the thing. And just to walk in there and see that, and see names on some of those names were friends of mine, people that I went to high school with, and it kind of brought back a little bit of nostalgia. But this one up here is well done, and there are several people that are relatives that are on those blocks that are up here, and to me it's touching, and I'm glad to see that we have this coming here, and it's an honor to those people that have gone and given their lives for this country.
Yes, it is.
And, so don't miss it. Be there.
Thank you for that. Committee reports, city manager's report, department heads. All right. Then now we are down to you aren't sitting where you were usually on.
Trying to sneak one in on you.
You almost got gambled.
So close.
We just got a water valve that's bad up in the neighborhood of Meridian and 8th Street. We're gonna have a small system shutdown we're planning on for Thursday this week, and it involves 26 houses. Probably 4 or 5, 6 hours on that project, so we're gonna send out notice to houses that are affected. And we got more of those coming this summer. We have probably 5 or 6 valves throughout the system that we find when we're flushing that aren't working right, or they're broken, or they're leaking, and we want to get them fixed. So that's it. Yep.
Sounds good. Thank you.
One other thing I'd like to say too, I was visiting with Steve the other day, and he said, go check out that new mower that we got for the park. And I'm here to tell you, that's a machine. That thing can eat some grass real fast. And while I was there, the man got off of it, and I was waiting to talk to him. And then Adam came up, and he got on it. And he went to try it out. He gave it a go for it. I mean, he did a good job. I didn't wait around. He was just going. He had a spot out there, and he was going to finish it, and he did, evidently, because he was still mowing when I left. And but that was go see those guys, watch what they do, and see the kind of work that they do. And that machine is really, really good. I'd like to have one myself, but it's too big for my yard.
Your yard's not big enough.
Yeah.
All right. So now we're down to adjournment. So if there is a motion for adjournment.
So moved. Second.
Lieber with the first and Spear with the second.
Spear,
Yes.
Lieber,
Yeah.
McNeil,
Yes.
Cummins,
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
All right, we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.